2014 Ford Taurus Limited, the all-wheel drive version of the Ford Taurus. So we got a steering issue. The power steering is making a grinding, scraping sound. Most of the time when you have power steering go out, you are hearing a whining sound or a whirring sound, or it's getting difficult to steer, etc. In the newer Fords, you have the EPAS system, EPAS, which is their electric power steering. So instead of having a power steering pump and fluid in the rack and pinion, etc., you have an electric motor because it's an all-electric system. There is no fluid or power steering pump. You just have a motor. So I'm going to show you the sound that I'm getting, which is very different from what most people hear, and that's why it's not throwing, by the way, it's not throwing the code. There's about 117,000 miles on the car. Not throwing a power steering code in the computer. No check engine light for a power steering code. So lots of things that are a little bit different than what people usually experience when they have issues with the EPAS system. The car is also not under the recall list. There's been recalls for the EPAS in certain years and models, but not this one. So going to show you the sound, and hopefully it's going to help you guys out. I've been through all the YouTube videos that I can find. I've been through the blogs online, the forums. I've been everywhere you can go trying to figure out if I can find anybody that has the same scraping sound that I have, and I have yet to find anyone. So hopefully I'm going to make this video and help some of you out in the future, and you can look at my video and be able to tell exactly what's going on with your car. So the sound that I'm hearing happens when the car is on or off. So I'll show it to you off first. Hopefully you can hear this. You can feel it in the steering wheel as well, like it's something scraping. And here it is from outside the car. And that's every single time you turn the wheel, not just once in a while. Let's turn the car on. Okay, the car is on. I do have a check engine light on, but it's the something to do with the fuel inlet back there, which is really annoying. But anyway, it's not to do with the power steering. We've already pulled the codes. So if you can hear that. Just trying to give you the sound the best I can. It's got 118,000 miles on it, I guess. So every time you turn the wheel, you're hearing that sound. Here it is again from the outside with the car running. Okay. So that's the sound that we're getting. Not a typical power steering issue. I have the new electronic rack and pinion here. So the way that this works, there's other YouTube videos that can explain it better than me. I'm not a mechanic, but your shaft comes in here. Steering shaft comes in here, and here's your rack and pinion that converts it to linear motion. In there's some bearings and things, so it could be an issue with the bearings. I'm not sure yet. To me, it sounds like it's coming more from here, from the rack and pinion area, or something grinding that's not lubed where the shaft goes in there. I'm not really sure. I haven't torn it apart yet, but that's what it sounds like. And then you have your motor here. So instead of a power steering pump, you have a motor, and that's what assists your steering. And since they're going to do an alignment whenever you change out your power steering, you have to have it aligned. And because they're doing that, I went ahead and grabbed a couple of the outer tie rod ends, some Duralast outer tie rod ends, because as long as I'm getting the power steering changed, and as long as I'm paying the labor to have it all torn apart, might as well change the outer tie rod ends too before they align it, because they're probably getting pretty worn out at 118,000 miles. So got a couple of those as well. Okay, so we got the old EPAS system out. That is what the problem was. So the EPAS, the electric power steering unit that comes in many Fords, is what this is. And you can see my vice grips. That's where your steering shaft comes in. So you can hear the noise just like you could in my video with the car. As I turn the steering shaft, you can hear the sound. So it definitely is in the EPAS system, and replacing that electric rack and pinion did fix the problem. Where exactly in here the problem is another case. Okay, so I took this thing apart a little bit and figured out that it's not on this end, because if you turn the steering shaft now, you don't have the sound. So it's not anywhere in this end or the shaft. Where it is, and I've already figured it out, you have your motor here. This is your power steering motor. Turns this belt, goes down here to this roller, and you have your shaft, should be nice and lubed up, and then you have bearings inside this roller. And that's where the problem is. There's tons of metal shavings, rust, and debris inside of here, which tells you that, you know, there's probably a problem right off the bat. But then whenever I go down in here and start rolling this back and forth, you can hear and feel that that's where the problem is. And it's not up here. It's not up here in the motor or anything. It's the bearings inside here. Either the dirt that's in there, the rust, they're just getting completely worn out, and that's where the metal shavings are coming from. I'm not sure, without completely taking all this apart, which I'm not going to do because I want to get my $300 core charge back, but that's the problem. So I don't know. As far as the mechanical side, it seems like you could probably get the parts and replace this yourself pretty cheap. It's just a matter of getting it all sealed back up, and also, like, the seals are in very bad shape, and I can tell that they've been compromised in several places. So that probably got water in there, whatever, that started breaking it down. But anyway, the mechanical side, you could probably fix it. It's just a matter of, can you get it all synced back up the way that it's supposed to be, put back together, then get it hooked up to the computer, and have the computer communicate with it being all electronic, have everything synced and lined back up where it actually works properly. And that part might be tricky. I don't know. Things are so computer oriented now. I have to take my new system to Ford and have them program it for 130 more bucks. I haven't done that yet, but the car runs great and doesn't have the sound anymore. So yeah, that's your culprit right there. If you're hearing that sound, what you do from there is your choice. And I'll put I'm gonna show some of the costs here in a second when I get back inside of what it actually costs for me to replace this. But that's the problem. If you're hearing that sound in your steering and you drive a Ford and it has the EPAS system in it, the problem is in the bearings right in there. Probably got some water or some rust, whatever, in there, got it going, and the bearings are going out of it. So there you go. Okay, as you can see here in this video, the result of changing the EPAS system did the trick. Now we can start the car, and there is no sound anymore. So there you go. That fixed it. Just a couple of quick afterthoughts here. I'm going to have these receipts posted at the end of this video so you can check them out. Also, I'm going to have a picture of the AutoZone part number where I bought it through AutoZone. But a couple of quick notes. One thing is, you can save a lot of money by having somebody else in a different garage, or a friend or whatever, help you do it if you've got a lift and a way to do it other than you could do it on jacks, but it would be a giant pain in the butt. So somebody with a lift could help you do it. The installation of the EPAS is not that big a deal because it's pretty much a plug and play system. But if you pay a garage to do it, you can get it done a lot cheaper than if you have Ford dealerships do it. I want to say that I called and had a quote done through the Ford dealership locally, and they wanted $1,600 just for the parts alone. So as you'll see as we add this up, that saved me a lot of money to get the parts myself. And I've got a local garage that I like here that allows me to get the parts myself. If they get the parts, they mark them up. If I get them myself and bring them there, they are cool with that, and they don't charge me extra. They don't mark them up, so that's pretty cool. If you can find somebody like that to just do the work on it, that's great. Um, so yeah, you save a lot of money by not having the Ford dealership do it. And also, you do have to take the car to, most likely, unless you have a garage that has the ability. My garage did not, to update the computer system and sync that back up with the new EPAS system. I had to take it to Ford and have them do it, which only took them maybe 15-20 minutes to do that, but it did cost me $130. So but even with going to two separate places and having Ford update the computer, still saved a lot of money over having Ford do it the entire job themselves. We'll add that up here in a second. But you'll save a lot of money by not having Ford do it, and you'll save a lot of money by getting this particular part, the ER1002, on AutoZone.com, because pretty much anywhere else that I could find the parts, and believe me, I called around O'Reilly, Napa, all over the place, and everywhere I looked online and locally, it was going to be $1,000 for a reman EPAS system. The only place I found it for this price, which was 500 and some dollars, was this one part through this one remanufacturer. I think it's called Atlantic, and I'll put all this in the description. I'll put the link in the description as well, so you can get that exact part. Everybody else was double that cost, so that was the only one I found, and I did have to wait for them to make it because they only make so many of these in their little assembly plant, whatever, where they reman those. They're doing all kinds of other power steering systems and other parts, so you have to wait for them to do that one if they're out of stock on AutoZone. But I just contacted them directly and asked them when they were going to make one, and they told me. And when they did make one, I was quick to get on there and buy it before somebody else did. So that's kind of the process that I went through. But if we add it all up, we got the cost of the EPAS was $764, and then you subtract $180 for the core charge. The core charge means when you take the old EPAS system into AutoZone, they'll refund that $180 core charge. So if you take away the core charge, $584 is what I paid for that part. Then you add in $541, which is what I paid in labor for installing to my garage, for installing the EPAS and the outer tie rod ends and doing the alignment. I also had them do brakes, but take that out of the equation. So installing the EPAS, the outer tie rod ends, and doing an alignment was $541 in labor. Then we had $129.95, so call it $130 to take it to the Ford dealership and have them reprogram the computer. That was $130. And I went ahead, this is optional. I did put new tie rod ends because as long as they were going to have it apart and going to be doing an alignment afterwards, I thought it made sense with 118,000 miles on the car to go ahead and do new outer tie rod ends because why not? They're already there, they're probably getting worn out. So I went ahead and added those as well. So the total cost of everything, about $1,360 to get all of that done. So that's what it cost me. You could maybe get it done a little cheaper if you find a garage. If you can get the labor down and do it yourself on a friend's lift, you could cut out $500 worth of that. Again, maybe have to have somebody do the alignment for $100. But anyway, just various ways to save the money. That's my experience. Wanted to put it all out there. And like I said, Ford, when I called them, the dealership, they wanted $1,600 in just parts alone for the outer tie rods and for the new EPAS system. So to get the entire thing done for less than that, I feel pretty happy with that. I would say that if you took it straight to Ford and had them do the entire thing themselves, you probably would be looking at well over $2,000. So I'm happy with that. Still a costly repair, a lot more than it would be to get just a regular power steering rack and pinion replaced. But that's how it is with technology these days. It costs a lot of money to get that stuff fixed. So there you have it. That's the end of this video. Hope you liked it. Make sure you like the video and share it and whatnot. Maybe we can help some other people that come across this same issue. It's something I couldn't find anywhere in the forums with this particular sound, this particular issue. So that's why I'm making this video and trying to get the word out there for anybody that runs across this in the future. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. If you made it this far, first of all, I just want to say I love you. You must have liked the video, so make sure you give me that thumbs up, subscribe, notifications on, of course, and then click on one of my videos to the side. If the YouTube algorithm is doing its job, there should be one over there. If not, just go to my page and check it out. Thanks for watching. Peace.